But Siyabonga, this is a building that's been taken over by people. They're not paying rent. They've just moved in here and they live here. What do you expect the city to do for them when they actually are illegally occupying this building?
What I'm expecting is that the city should provide them with that.
Why? I suppose the question should rather be why. Why would you expect the city to give these residents free services when they're not paying for a thing and they're illegally occupying it?
Remember, in terms of the Constitution of South Africa, if someone is failing to assist him or herself, the city has to intervene and assist those people. Even in terms of access to free basic services, the city itself has come up with the ESP, we call it ESP, but it's expanded social package, where you go and register and raise your hands and say, I'm failing to assist myself. Can you please provide me with free basic services? It's their duty to do so.
But at the same time, illegally occupying a building? I mean, because this is illegally occupied. You don't just... It's not a place that is set up by the city to assist people that got nowhere to go. It's not a shelter. It's a building that they've just taken over.
It's really sad what is becoming of our cities here in South Africa. The decay in our cities is insane. Look at what is happening in Johannesburg. Apparently, there's a building that was a fire station that has now been hijacked by illegal settlers. The state of the building is not conducive to living, but people are living inside that building illegally. The building can collapse at any moment, yet there are other South Africans from certain organizations who defend the people who are hijacking these buildings and living inside them illegally. I don't think we will ever progress or develop or even face this issue of urban decay as long as there are still people out here who are defending illegal activity. And the sad thing about it is that these are other South Africans. There are people who are saying these people would rather stay inside of those buildings illegally than for them to be on the streets. Bear in mind, that person is speaking about a building that can collapse at any moment and kill everyone inside that building. Yet that person says he's fighting for human rights. Sometimes I fail to understand how some people think. So if engineers come and survey a building, and then they tell you, Guti, this building should be demolished, or this building should be repurposed for something else because it is no longer in the correct state for people to be living in. And then there are people who are saying they are defending human rights, who say, no, these people must live inside those buildings, going against the words of the engineers. It's shocking to me. How are we ever going to progress as a country if we still have people who defend illegal activity? That's my question. And another question that I have before I play this clip for you is very, very interesting. I want you to see what is happening to our cities. Another question that I'm asking myself, why is it that every time there are people who are living in a place illegally, if you can check all the places that have illegal foreigners in South Africa, for example, where they live, in their flats, in their places where they live, why is it that every time there is decay, there is dirt, there is rubbish? It's as if the people don't care about the environment. They just throw nappies, they just they just pee there. I'm pretty sure you've seen this. It's a question that I always ask myself. Why is it that when people are living in a particular place illegally, it's as if they don't care about that place, and then they blame us as South Africans when we chase them away because they don't even care about the environments that they are occupying? But it's something that I don't see where people are paying rent, where people are living there legally. Those people will take care of the environment. But if you can check all these people who are living in hijacked buildings, you look at the state of the environment surrounding those buildings. But it makes sense because they are not paying any rent. Footy, they are illegal here in South Africa. So some of them, why would they care about whether they are damaging the environment or not? This thing is really getting out of hand now. It's really getting out of hand. And then I want you to listen to that man who's defending these illegal activities, saying the government, the city should supply housing to these people, including illegal foreigners. So the city of Johannesburg must supply housing for everyone who's living in that hijacked building. You know, let me not speak a lot. Let me just stitch this video for you. Leanne from the SAPC even went inside the building. You can see the state of the building in the clip. You'll see everything. Just watch the video and you'll see why I'm so concerned. And then tell me on the comment section down below, what do you think about this whole situation? And if you know, please tell me another reason. Maybe I don't know why is it that everywhere there's illegal settlers, there's always decay there. Other than the reason that obviously they don't care about the environment because they are not from there, because they are there illegally. Tell me on the comment section down below. But if you just enjoyed the video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.
Broadcasting from the Marshalltown area. We're here on what we are calling a building that's literally been taken over. And this building used to be the fire station for Johannesburg. 2018, that building was taken over by residents who have moved in. They have just moved in and taken over. I just want to show you a little bit, and we're going to walk upstairs. I want to give you background check. So you know the water we were talking about earlier, so that was cut off. So there is no water supply at the moment. So, but instead, what the residents are using now is this emergency pump. And this is an emergency pump that, obviously I told you this was a fire station, so they go into the hydrant and that is where they get the water from. So this is where residents get water from. The rest is all illegal connections in terms of the electricity that they get. So let me take you into the building, because I think it's important that you see the conditions that people are living in and how dangerous it is. It's unhygienic. I mean, I can feel, the more I stay here, the more I can breathe in. I don't know what I'm breathing in, but it is, the stench is unbearable. The flies, the animals, I mean, the insects that you've got here, it is not safe for humans to be living like this. And you can just smell sewage. That's the biggest thing that you're feeling. So as you come up out of the courtyard, you come up these stairs, and this is where you find the residents are living. And there are 81 rooms. I can't tell you how many people are actually staying in the rooms, but that is pretty much so the situation of a lot of people that do live here. One of the residents that does stay here, I mean, they were just saying that what the problem is, okay, not necessarily here, but all the drains are blocked. So they have to constantly be pumping the sewage out of the drains, and that's where the problems all sort of come from, because this building's not being serviced. I mean, it's just been left, and that's the reality. So who I've got with me now, I'm going to get to the MMC in a short while, but I just want to introduce you to Siyabonga Mahlangu, who's the Secretary General of the Inner City Federation. Siyabonga, thanks for talking to us. So you work with these residents to protect them so that they can stay here and they have a place to stay, that they don't get evicted. Is that correct? Tell us what you do.
The Inner City Federation, it works with the inner city residents, the whole entire inner city residents. We are protecting their right in terms of access to housing and also to access to basic services such as water and electricity. We are liaising directly with the city of Johannesburg with all the challenges that the residents are facing. Sometimes we do win when we're trying to resolve the matter amicable. Sometimes we have to take the city to court, just imagine, so that they will do their jobs, so that they can act proactive in terms of giving sufficient services to the residents.
Yeah. But Siyabonga, this is a building that's been taken over by people. They're not paying rent. They've just moved in here and they live here. What do you expect the city to do for them when they actually are illegally occupying this building?
What I'm expecting is that the city should provide them with
Why? I suppose the question should rather be why. Why would you expect the city to give these residents free services when they're not paying for a thing and they're illegally occupying it?
Remember, in terms of the Constitution of South Africa, if someone is failing to assist him or herself, the city has to intervene and assist those people. Even in terms of access to free basic services, the city itself has come up with the ESP, we call it ESP, but it's expanded social package, where you go and register and raise your hands and say, I'm failing to assist myself. Can you please provide me with free basic services? It's their duty to do so.
But at the same time, illegally occupying a building? I mean, because this is illegally occupied. You don't just... It's not a place that is set up by the city to assist people that got nowhere to go. It's not a shelter. It's a building that they've just taken over.
Yes, I agree, but we should look why these people are in here. If the city provided enough housing within the city, do you think these people will be in this building? Yeah. No. Yeah. But because of the failure of the city, the people find themselves in such situations where they just go in and just stay because they don't have anywhere else to go because they can't afford to pay rentals. Remember, to stay within the city is too expensive. The cheapest rent within the inner city, we can say, it's around 3,400.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Siyabonga, I've got the MMC. I'm gonna just move down the passage as I go. But Siyabonga, it's interesting to hear your perspectives and seeing. But here's the MMC that we've got with us, and we say thank you so much for you to coming and seeing us, MMC Mqina Twaku, who is for public safety here at this building. I mean, this is in a terrible state, MMC. This building.
Yeah, of course it is, because the building was actually hijacked. It was closed. This building can sink any time. Yeah. Okay, can sink any time. It was actually more bolted, and people came in here. They invaded it. Of course, the matter is actually in court. Okay, so that we are able to evacuate the people. We're not evicting. We're evacuating for the sake of safety of them as well.
Organizations that fight for the right to keep people living in this building. So, Siyabonga, obviously you're making. Just from the organization point of view, and I know it's the law against what you would like to do, because you're almost fighting the law, and that's the biggest problem here. But you are protecting the rights. When you know a building like this could collapse at any time, as what the MMC is saying, why would you fight to let them remain here and get services here when they are illegally occupying? I'm going to ask you that question again so that perhaps the MMC can hear your answer.
The issue about that, we are saying that it's better to be within a building like this instead of being on the street. Remember, there are so many elements of danger in the street. There are children here, there are women here, they can be raped at any time on the street. But here, the city will come and say, we want to move you out, without saying, where are we taking you to? If I can take you instead, it was 2019, we wrote it to the city and say, there is a building, the owner wants its building back. Can you please assist with these people with alternative accommodation? The answer from the city's attorney was very clear, saying that we can't do that until we're told by the court.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to respond. I want you to respond.
Yes, pure nonsense. The building is about to really, is going to collapse. It's closed. Even the engineers, there's a report on that. So, but how many times Seri and this organization must tell them that there's an alternative accommodation? They can go to the shelters, but they don't want to listen every single time. Right? Like on Cindy, so it's the same thing. When you tell them that there is a report and then this place is environmentally not actually good, but they will go to court. That's why I'm saying that what we're doing right now, we take people out to an alternative accommodation, shelters and all of that, whatever it is. And then we say if there's a court order here, we tell the judge they must come and do inspection on local. Because at the end, I have to go and answer. When something happens here, I must go and answer. They were not there. I had to go to those Cindy's and answer. So I said to them, I'm not going to listen to any court orders. If I have to take people into any shelter, they must go to the shelter. There's a report on this place here. It's going to fall. Who's going to be blamed again? It's me. Said that Mr. MMC does not do his bylaws and all of that. But it's equally the same courts which are giving these NGOs. We don't want to listen because we told them, let us do even, let's say, what do you call this thing? I used to call it a partial evacuation. Probably, other people going to the shelter at the bottom we can service the place and, clean it up and all of that. But they actually even kicked it out as well. So I say that, whose fault is this? If they go and run to court, but we show them a structural report that said their place is going to collapse. This place is going to collapse, by the way, because there's a big hole underneath. And Department of Labor and everyone came in and said, this place is going to be thing. I said I'm going to sign a disclaimer to say that, look, I've tried my best. I've warned people, and I even warned the courts. Then it's going to be not on my fault in terms when this place falls. This is not this only place like that. There are many places here in the city like this as well.
I have to wrap. How many buildings are we talking about that are like this about?
Probably, look, plus minus about, look, we have about 500 plus buildings, but there are about 30 buildings all of the city.